Talkopolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Player to player. I'm B-Hop. He's D-Mace. We are live at Cool Springs Drake's. I tell you what, man, I've never been in here, really. And I'm pleasantly surprised.
Maybe we should come in next time and play a little dart since the dartboard's behind us.
Only if you sit right there.
You would say that.
Now, as we teased the last segment, we're going to have a conversation now about the NFL owners' meetings. You know, the big wigs got together down there in Orlando, and they're trying to plan out the universe in the football world and make this game a little more fun, maybe.
Yeah, they're trying to take over the world one rule at a time.
One rule at a time.
There you go.
So what do you say we go through a few of these rules and see if you give them a thumbs up or the thumbs down?
Thanks. Sounds good to me.
All right. As expected, the NFL will consider adding a new layer to replay reviews. The owners will discuss allowing referees to consult with an NFL official in the booth, so like in New York. So you know how we are at home in our living rooms and we get to see the action live as it takes place, and those multiple camera angles seem to always, you know, give us a better vantage point than the referees actually on the field. So now they're able to concur underneath the booth with a guy that's watching this kind of like the same things that we are. What are your thoughts?
I think it only helps the sport. I think sometimes, you know, the refs get so entrenched and they don't get all the angles that we might see on television with the red zone package and all this other stuff. And then the guys back in New York get every angle imaginable to a viewer. So I think by them going under the booth, calling in to New York, and trying to figure out, is this a catch or a non-catch? Is this a touchdown or a non-touchdown? I think that portion will only benefit the NFL. And I think you stop getting a lot of mad viewers and a lot of mad fans out there when you see, hey, I can call in and, you know, figure it out that way.
Check this out. Now, there are 21 rules changes that are mentioned above. Now, 14 of those come from NFL teams, okay? 14 of them. Now, of those 14, 12 of them are from the Patriots and the Redskins. Is that right? We're two teams basically. Like, what is going on, Bill? Leave the game alone, man.
Hey, man, Belichick, he's hurt because he got beat in the playoffs. Is that the reason? There we go.
Right? You got some person against Bill?
Never have, never will.
Yeah, okay. Speaking to a former Jet. Anyway, the New England Patriots do actually propose raising the goalpost 5 feet. What do you think?
I think that might be a good thing, because there's been a lot of situations and a lot of instances where the field goal has been extremely high, and it takes a real good eye to figure out if that field goal was good or not. And then they started adding cameras underneath, on the goal to figure it out. But I think if you do extend the goalpost up another 5 feet, it takes away, one, the camera, but then it takes away, two, the whether it was good or not. Now you get more of an accurate reading whether the field goal was good or not. Now, the flip side of that is that, hey, if you kick it almost, 4.5 feet over the initial mark, and it hit the post and go backward, then it's no good. Whereas last year, it would have been good. Because it wouldn't have had to hit a goalpost, right? Yeah,
you're right about that. Yesterday on NFL Rewind, Jack Root and I on Sirius XM were talking about some of these topics and the rules changes, and we had a caller call in and suggest that they actually put a bar on the top, making it kind of like a skills competition. Not a competition like some kind of, punt, pass, and kick deal. But if you think about it, it adds a degree of difficulty and makes the kicker's position a little more, involving, because now you have to have touch. I know it sounds kind of silly, but if you think about it, you're actually having to put touch on a kick. You've got to be skilled to do that.
Well, the thing is that, are you going to raise the bar 5 feet and put the bar across? Are you going to raise the goalpost up 5 feet and put the bar across? Or are you just going to put the bar across? The thing is, if you just put a bar across, the kicker has to be very accurate. Then you take away, not necessarily, I wouldn't say you take away the long distance kick, because typically long distance is you kick it long and not high.
But what's the difference between that and, say, a free throw? I mean, think about this. You can have the most imposing figure in the paint, around the arc, anywhere. But if you put him on the free throw line, what are teams going to do? Hack a Shaq?
Yeah.
They're going to play to your weaknesses and put you on the line. Well, if I can just keep you to basically delegated to making your kicker earn you points, there's no guarantee if your kicker doesn't have the skill to make those shots that you're going to get points.
Well, kickers become more valuable now, because the more accurate the kickers, the Adam Vinatieri's of the world, even the Rob Baronas, and I know Rob had a down year this year, but he has been one of the most accurate kickers in all of NFL history.
Shouldn't be hard for him to find a team.
Absolutely. So when you have kickers like that, their accuracy is a little bit better. The touch that they can put on the football is a little bit better. So the kicker become more of a commodity. It's not like, okay, I can get a kicker from anywhere, because not every kicker can kick through a square box.
Right.
Just like every quarterback can't throw a deep ball.
Exactly.
A good one anyway.
And we've seen that too.
Absolutely.
Well, the thing about it is, though, if you think about it, normally when a team scores a touchdown, you see them score 6 points, and you'll get up and go get a beer, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do, and you come back and you expect to see that extra point on the board, right?
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. Because if you think about it, when you put the bar on it, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch that extra point, and you're going to want to see if, in fact, that kicker has the skill to put it in a small window. I'd watch it. More so than you would maybe to see, the push that a defense can provide to try and block it. I just want to see on a regular basis, does he have the touch to drop it into the box?
I think it brings more of an intrigue to the game. Not just the offensive side and the defensive side, but it brings an intrigue to the special team side. Like you said, people usually, when the ball's being kicked off or when the ball's being punted, people usually go get a beer, go use the bathroom, do something else. But now you have a situation where now you got a square box. You're going to sit there and try to figure out, man, I hope our kicker makes this.
Right.
Because if you don't, we could lose this football game.
Ooh, that would be crazy. Hey, what do you think about the Redskins' proposal basically to move kickoffs to the 40-yard line?
I mean, they moved it. They moved it up, they moved it back, they moved it up, they moved it back. It hadn't changed anything.
Yeah.
Why move it? What is it? Move it up some more. Just leave it the way it is. I mean, kickers.
But it's going to result in touchbacks all the time. If that's the case, why don't you just say screw the kickoffs and just start the ball?
No, what I'm saying is, as you have seen now, even though they did move it up to, I believe, the 35 now, somewhere in there, they moved it up to 35. Teams are still bringing the ball out.
Right.
Regardless if you kick it at the back of the end zone or not. They are still bringing the ball out. Now, if you pull it up to the 40, they're never going to get an opportunity to bring the ball out. Now, kick returners become obsolete. That extra man that's on your team taking up a roster spot, he's non-existent now. You don't need him because you're not returning any kickoffs anymore. So I think that's a bad rule.
Okay, you remember the Navarro Bowman in the situation with San Francisco where he actually recovered the fumble that he actually stripped it. I think he stripped the ball carrier, got the fumble back, but it didn't go their way because they basically weren't able to review it and get the right call. Well, guess what? Now they're actually going to say that any of those recovery plays are now reviewable in the booth. Your thoughts?
Well, it should be. I mean, if you saw that game, it was clearly a fumble.
Absolutely.
And, the ball should have been awarded to the other team. But because it was an injury and they didn't, replay the play, that it was considered, not a fumble. So I think plays like that should be considered fumble, whether it's an injury or not. If the guy, is tackled before his knee go down and he gets injured and he lets the ball go, then it should be a reviewable play. You shouldn't say, well, the guy got injured, we're not going to replay the play because now we're really concentrating on the man on the ground, which is great. But then you still got to give the other team an opportunity to review that to see if it was a turnover or not. Yeah,
we can't go through all of them, but there are a couple I wanted to get through really, really quick. First, your thoughts on eliminating overtime in preseason?
I think get rid of it. You don't need any extra time in preseason.
Exactly. And the last one that we're going to talk about here on Player to Player would be a single cut at the end of preseason rather than having the progressionary cuts that we see 1, 2, and 3. At the end of the day, the 90 roster gets reduced down to 53 immediately. Boom. What do you think?
I don't think that's a good rule because I think now you got a bunch of free agents on the market at the same time. Typically, as we know, Brad, there's a 3-tier cut. The first cut, a guy might not make it, but he might go to another team.
Right.
And he might make that team, but then again, he might survive another 2 cuts and then become a free agent at the end of it all. But I think what happens is everybody releases their guys at the same time.
Yeah.
It becomes a flood of free agents, and then guys are not they're not susceptible to getting a job when there's too many guys on the market. I think if they keep it the way it is, if they tear it out, then things will be fine.
Yeah, you might have to have another combine with all those released players. There'll be so many of them available.
Exactly, absolutely. So that was a bad rule. Thumbs down to that rule.
Well, it's been a great week to talk sports, and I'm sure that we'll have another great week next week. So tune in, and you got to tune in because you don't know where we'll be. This week we're at Drake's in Cool Springs.
We could be at Brad's house next week.
Or we
could be in my backyard next week. We could be at Kane's house. We don't know.
Yeah, we could be at Kane's house. You get lost in Derrick's backyard. Let's go to someplace we know. Anyway, for D-Face, I'm B-Hop. This has been Player to Player. We'll see you next week.